Good morning again. I'm reading a poem called 10 Years. This is a original work of mine inspired by my mom. It is somewhat of a companion poem to the one that I made the video of earlier called Sueños. 10 years. 10 birthdays gone unacknowledged. 10 Mother's Days. 10 of your birthdays. Sometimes I acknowledge them. 9 years ago, you wouldn't grieve my friend's suicide, Grayson passing over to the Rainbow Bridge, or my stepbrother's sudden death. My cat dying. The first cat, which led you to adopting your boy and girl. Boy's always been your favorite. 7 years ago, you asked at a Christmas how my second cat was. She got sick and died on the living room floor, but you didn't know that. 6 years ago, you shrugged when I asked to reconcile, sighed when I asked you if you wanted to work on it. 2 years in China without acknowledgement that I was half a world away. One mental breakdown, trauma. You weren't there. Returning to the States. You weren't there. 3 years ago, you wouldn't look at me during your father's funeral. I asked if I could hug you with my hand on your shoulder. You said no. More trauma in China. I drove to your house to see you as soon as I got off the plane. You weren't there. Fired from 3 jobs because I had so much pain. Went manic. You weren't there. A proposal, a ring, my first live in boyfriend. You weren't there. 2 years of learning to sew and starting fashion school. Couldn't share it with you. 1 year ago, I moved out on my own and created my home for me and Truss. You aren't worthy enough to meet her. You'll never see my infamous wall of art. 10 years ago, you exited my life. 10 years ago, you quit being my mother. 10 years and friends and family of choice telling me how beautiful, confident, sexy, brave, talented, strong I am. You don't know. 10 years ago, I held my intervention. 10 years ago, I died in your heart. 10 years. Tomorrow, you could be dead or live another 10 years to spite me.